Good morning, everyone. It's Chris again. Today we're going to take our mini album that we have made 5 pages for, and we're going to add some additional pages. And I'm going to show you several different ways to do that. I'm going to make them out of the white cardstock and decorate each page with the designer paper. So we're going to take this first page and we're going to measure the width of the page, which was 5.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches. So we do not want the page to go all the way to the center here, because if it goes all the way to the center here, then it will get caught up on the spine and possibly bend or buckle or something. So we're going to want to leave at least 1/2 inch, which would make it 5 inches. And that leaves us 1/2 inch here where it's not going, and so that also so that you can grab hold of it and turn it out. Now we're going to want 1/2 inch to turn under so that we can attach it to this page. So we're back up to 5.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches. So I'm going to cut a piece that is 5.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches. Now along the 5 3/4 inch side, the length of 6 3/4, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So I will score it at 5 inches. And to make it a little bit neater and a little bit easier, we're going to take and we're going to cut just a tab off of each corner up to the 1/2 inch mark that we made. Okay? We're going to fold it and score it, crease it. We're going to put score tape on the outside of the tab. Like so. You pretty much want to cover the tab because you want it to stick both front and back. And you pull the score tape off, or the paper off the score tape. And apparently I have a piece of score tape here that doesn't want to stick. So let me get rid of that and put another little piece on there. The reason it didn't stick is because This, I don't use 1/8 inch score tape very often, and it probably just got a little dried up on the end that was opened a little. So there we have the score tape on the outside of the tab. Now we're going to take and put it along the outside edge, taking your time, lining it up, and press it down. Now you have this page here, and it folds out like this, so you have 2 more pages now. Okay? Another way to do it is to cut one that is 5.5 inches wide, the width of the page, and it was 6 3/4 inches. The height of the page is 6 3/4 inches. We add 1/4 or 1/2 inch to that, so we have 7.5 inches. 7 1/4 inches, excuse me. Now we're going to lay it this way, the 7 1/4 inches, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch again. Cut the corners off a little bit. Fold it over. And again, you're going to put the score tape on the outside of the tab. Press it down so that it sticks. Pull the paper off. Place it at the top of the page. Line it up to the top of the page. As close to the outside edge as you can get. Like so. Now your first page not only has one that opens this way, it also has one that opens this way. So you've added 4 pages to this book without having to have any more pages on the hinge. The next way that I'm going to show you is that you're going to want to have 5.5 inches and this is 6 3/4 inches. That's not going to work. Okay, so we have 5.5 inches this way, and we have 8.5 inches this way. Now I'm going to score that in half. So I'm going to score it at 4.25 inches. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to cut it at 4.25 inches. We'll cut it at 4.25 inches. Now, along, you've got your 5.5 inches this way, you've got your 4.25 inches this way, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on each piece. We're going to cut the corners off. We're going to fold it and crease it. We're going to put score tape on the outside of the creased piece, the 1/2 inch piece. Going to take the paper off of one piece, and we're going to place it at the top of the next page. I'm going to turn it around, take the paper off of the other one, and we're going to place it at the bottom of the page. So now you have a page that opens like this. And as you can see, these are all very simple ways of adding pages to your album. See, that doesn't want to fold over. See how it's bending this piece of paper right here? So I either didn't get it far enough over to the outer edge, or I should have cut it just a tad bit narrower. So I'm going to trim ever so slightly. See, just a tiny little bit off of the edge there. And the bottom one needs to be done the same way. So if you make it maybe a 1/16 of an inch narrower than the actual width of the page, then they work out better. You don't want the pages to buckle like that. And you'll see now how it folds a lot better now. And on this, you can either use a magnet to close it. You don't have to use anything at all to close it. Or you could tie it with a string to close it, or a ribbon. There's many different ways of closing that, but it's not necessary to do any way at all. So once again, we have a page that opens this way. We have a page that opens up. And we have a page that opens up and down. That's 3 different ways that you can add pages to your album. The next way, of course, is the same as like this one here, which opens up, will open down. So we'll take another piece that is just short of 5.5 inches. Give us that 1/16 of an inch just short of it. And we're going to cut it at 7 1/4. And it will be done exactly the same as the second one that we did. You're going to score it at 6 3/4. You're going to trim off the corners. You're going to fold it over and crease it. And you're going to put score tape on the edge that you folded over. And this time, we're going to place it at the bottom of the page, close to the outside edge. So now we have a page that goes out, a page that goes up, a page that opens this way, and a page that goes down. You can see how many pages you can add to an album like this. And it just makes it really nice if you have a lot of photos that you want to store in an album. Now, I'm going to leave the last 3 pages for now, and I will show you later how to do pockets or belly bands on the last 3 pages. But first of all, we want to go ahead and get started with some designer paper. I always save my cover inside and out for last. That way, all the time that I'm working on my album, if it gets a little spot of dirt on it or something while I'm working on it, then it's not going to show when I'm finished because I'll cover all that up. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to take one of each of the 6 pages. That way I will know what I have that I'm going to work with. And I can figure out better what I want to match with what. And don't forget that that actually gives us 12 pages because it's two-sided paper. Okay, so here are my 6 pages. Now, I'm going to open this up, and the first thing I'm going to do is cover the inside of these 2 pages here. Now, they're side by side, so you want them to look good together. You want them to match. In the situation with this paper here, it's really easy to do because you make one side on this side of the paper, and you make one side on this side of the paper, and they match. Now, I like this design because it's going down this side of the page, and I always go for the prettiest part of the paper, what I consider the prettiest part of the paper, or the most adapted part of the paper. Now, you're going to want to cut it 1/4 inch smaller than your page is. Now, there's where I want it to end. 1/8 of an inch shorter than that. So this is 5.5 inches. I'm going to want to cut it at 5.25 inches, and it's 6 3/4 inches tall. So I'll cut it at 6.5. 5.25 and 6.5. 5.25 is going to be the width. So I'll cut this off here. And 6.5 is going to be the height. Now, as you can see on this page, we have words up here. We have flowers all the way down the edge here. So, do you want the top half of the page with the words on it, or do you want the bottom half of the page with just the flowers? I'm going to take the top half of the page with the words. So, I want to go at 6.5 inches. I'm right in that area where it's not marked, so I had to measure with the ruler. So this will go here like this, and it will give me a 1/8 inch border all the way around it. Okay? Now, you can do something fancy like rounding the corners, or if you want, I can't think right now. You can do whatever you want to this to change it, or other than decorating it before you put it in the page or before you put it in the book. Any cutting that you want to do to it, or any changes that you want to make to it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to use this paper here for right now. So there's our first page. Now over here, this was a little bit smaller. So this is going to be 4 3/4 by 6 1/2. So we're going to take the other half of the page that we cut off, but we're going to use this side this time. We're going to cut it at 4 3/4, or 4 1/4, 4 3/4, 4 3/4 by 6 1/2. And we're going to place it right here. And we have our first 2 pages, and they go with each other because it's one side and then the other side of the paper. Now here, the only part of the design of paper before it that shows is right here. So you don't have to worry too much about matching something, because there's not enough that shows. So I'm going to choose this sheet here because most of what shows here to me is green. See, most of what shows there is green. And if I put this sheet on here, it looks good with this, not a deep contrast. So I'm going to need 4 3/4 by 6 1/2. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, now on this piece of paper, you're going to want to decide, do you want these type of design on your page, or do you want the shells? I want the shells. So I'm going to go at 6 1/2. And we're going to place it there like that. So there we have our first 3 pages. Now, remember the photo mats that we placed or that we cut for these. I'm going to cover my first photo mat. What I'm going to do with my photo mats is I am going to round the corners. So first of all, I'll take the photo mat and I will round off the corners. And I will use this same punch throughout the album. So I've rounded off the corners like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take, oh, hold on one quick minute there. I forgot to get out my tab punch. Now I have a little tab punch here. I'm going to take a scrap of the paper that was left over from this page here, and I'm going to punch Okay, I punched 2 tabs, and what I'm going to do is I am going to use the back side of the paper for the tabs. I will put score tape at the top and at the bottom. On the second one, you only need to put it at the bottom. Okay, so on this one, you're going to put the score tape at the top and at the bottom. On this one, you're going to put it only at the bottom. Now I will peel the piece of bottom paper off of the score tape on the one that's got both pieces on it. And I'm going to place it where I want it to be. And I'm going to place it so that the edge of the paper goes right along this edge right here. Then I'll tear this piece of paper off and the bottom piece of paper off of this one. And line them up so there you have your first tab. I'm going to use what's left of this piece of paper, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 5 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So we have 2 pages, one for each side of our photo mat. I'm going to put one up this way and one up this way. Now remember, we cut a decorative corner on the edge of our photo mats. So we're going to cut the same decorative corner on the edge of our designer paper. We do that on both pieces. Okay, now I'm going to use this one for this side because it does have wording on it. You want to look at it and make sure that you have your wording going right side up on the page, for one thing. And then you're going to place it on here 1/8 of an inch in on all sides. And there's the front side of our photo mat. The back side of the photo mat is going to be the back side of the paper. And you're going to give it 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So there we have our first photo mat, and that is going to slide in the pocket that we have here. Just like that, where the tab sticks out. So there is your first few pages done on your photo album and your first photo mat done. Now I'll go on to this page and I will decorate here, 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 and on these 2 pieces of paper and inside here. But I'm going to quit there for today because I don't want to make these videos too long. If you're comfortable with the concept of the way that it's being put together, you can go ahead and go on and do a few more pages, and I will come back and show you how to do pockets and how to do belly bands and waterfalls. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. I hope everybody has a good day. Be crafty, be happy, and I can't find my mouse. There it is. Love y'all. Bye.